Hi, I'm Megan with Our Handcrafted Life, and today we're going to be making concrete sugar molds. So I love using wooden sugar molds in our home decor. We've used them for things like utensils in the kitchen, we've used them to hold crayons in our playroom, and like today we've used them to hold succulents as a centerpiece on a table. And I really love the wooden versions, but I thought it'd be really interesting to create one out of concrete. It would just give it a different kind of texture, a different look. It would really marry that rustic and industrial style that I absolutely love. It would be at home, in a farmhouse, in the country, or in a loft in SoHo. This sugar mold, you're going to be able to use it as a centerpiece in the middle of a farmhouse table. You could put it on a windowsill. You could really use it just about anywhere. It's going to be a really beautiful piece. So today we're using Quikrete Pro Finish 5000 concrete mix, and it's a really great product because it's going to look nice, but it dries really quickly. We're also going to be using a 5-gallon bucket and some water. I got some succulents at my hardware store, and I wanted to give you a little tip. I found that if you find the little bitty succulents potted in a single pot, it's about $3.50, but you can find these bigger pots of succulents for about $5, and those have 5 or 6 little succulents inside of them. We're also going to be using these little paper cups that you'd find in the bathroom section to form the cups inside our sugar mold. Now we're going to cover those in wax so that they don't absorb any concrete, and so they're really easy to take out when the concrete is done drying. We have some 2x6 cedar planks. We chose a thicker wood so that it wouldn't bow under the weight of the concrete. We also really like the texture of this cedar planking. It's got really nice wood grain in it, and I'm kind of hoping that the end result will get some of that texture in it. But if you wanted to have a sugar mold with smooth sides, you could use melamine as well. And we actually have some melamine to use as the bottom of the sugar mold. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is cut the end pieces for our sugar mold, and we're going to cut those at a 10-degree angle. You can find a complete cut list including these dimensions, as well as a detailed description of this project on our blog, and I'll leave a link in the description below. So we set our table saw blade at a 10-degree angle, and we cut this angle on our long wood pieces. So we have 2 pieces of 2x6 cedar in 24 inches, and those are cut with a 10-degree angle on one side. And then we have the 2 end pieces. The end pieces are 5-inch pieces that I cut a 10-degree angle in, so they wound up being 5 inches at the top and 3 inches at the bottom. And then the piece of melamine, it's also 24 inches. Next, I'm going to brush off all the wood just to get off any dust and particles that we don't want to get into the concrete. Then I'm going to add a paste finishing wax to the boards as well as the little paper cups. This is going to serve as a moisture barrier, but also as a release agent. You can buy waxed cups or plastic cups, but we just wanted to make sure we found ones that didn't have an indentation in the bottom. To make the outside of my mold, first I drew a line on the melamine just to make sure I'm starting from a straight place. I clamped everything together, and now I'm going to drill some countersunk holes in the bottom and screw in these 3-inch coated screws. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the ends and the other side. Now that our frame is built, I want to make sure everything else is ready before we mix the concrete. So I'm going to fill up these little cups with some sand. I just needed a little bit of sand, so I stole it out of my daughter's sandbox. Don't tell her. We We wanted to fill these cups with sand so that they would keep their shape and so that they would stay down in the concrete. We're also going to use this piece of scrap wood to go over the top so that everything stays straight. I poured about half the bag of concrete into our 5-gallon bucket. Now I'm going to slowly add water and mix it really well. I'm going to start with about 3 pints of water and then see how much we need. So the concrete, once it's mixed, is a little heavy, so I'm calling in the big guns to pour my concrete for me. After the concrete's been poured, we're going to put in our cups. I've taken the sandpaper off of my pad sander and I'm going to use it to vibrate the bubbles out of my sugar mold. I let this piece harden overnight, so now we're going to take it out of the mold. The first step would be to pry off this top bar with a pry bar, but I picked it up with this, not thinking about it, and dropped the whole thing on my foot, so came right off. There you go. That's not how I would suggest to do it. The next thing we're going to do is go through and unscrew the rest of the pieces of the mold. Came out pretty easily. Take the cups out, I'm just going to use a pair of pliers and I'm going to twist inward so the cup kind of peels off the inside of the mold. So it wasn't supposed to rain last night, but of course in good old Texas fashion, the one night that I need it not to rain, it does. So we've got some little bubbles here in the top just from raindrops. I'm going to use a 40 grit sandpaper on our orbital sander to just kind of buff out the top and any imperfections that I find. I love how this turned out. Now, it just started to rain, so I'm going to move before I plant the succulents, but that's my next step. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial for our DIY concrete sugar mold. I absolutely love how it turned out. This is actually an entry for the Quikrete One Bag Wonder Challenge, and as soon as they release the rest of the entries, I'll leave a link to it in the description below because they're absolutely amazing. So many incredible makers come together to make things out of concrete for this challenge, and it's really incredible. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about living simply and creating beautiful things, I hope you'll subscribe to our channel. We would love to have you. Okay guys, we'll see you next time. Bye.